Hello, everyone. My name is Husey, and today I've gathered 81 different versions of Nightwing's costume to make the ultimate Nightwing slash Dick Grayson tier list here. And I'm the biggest fan of Nightwing. He is my favorite character of all time, or one of them. And I just wanted to rank all of his drip that he got. So this is going to be a long video, so feel free to use the 1.5 or the 2 times function here if you want to get through it faster. But I'm going to be going over the animated versions of Nightwing, then the comics, and then lastly video games for the most part. So this is only going to be his appearances as an adult, mainly no Robin suits on this tier list. But as you can see, there's already a whole bunch of outfits I have to go through here. So we divided into 7 different tiers. The best of all time, which is only going to be one suit, I think, can hold that title. And there's going to be awesome, great, good, mid, bad, and trash suits. So we'll get straight into it here. But all those links to, I'm going to separate it into 3 different parts mainly for the animated, comics, and then video games down in the description below if you want to skip around. Now, going to our first pick here is the Batman Unlimited Nightwing. Now this one, it starts with we're starting off with a doozy here because this one is not my favorite. He's got a navy suit with red as the accent color. Now you'll learn this over time, but I'm not the biggest fan of the red aspect for Nightwing. I think he works best as blue being the main color for him. So for this one and the navy, it just doesn't work for me. We're going to have to put this one in bad off rip. But I do think that the hair is all right for that one. But going forward into the next version of this one is in the third Batman Unlimited movie, Mechs versus Mutants. So this one, I think, is just a tad better because the black suit is actually black. It's not navy. And I think that works better than navy and red. It's a little sleeker. I don't like what they did with his hair. I think they made it worse in this version, and they kept that cowl on, which I don't think is a great look for him. But overall, just a black suit. So I'm gonna put him right next to the other one, just in front at bad. Now moving on, we got another bad version of Nightwing. Now this one is kind of tainted by the movies a part of Batman and Harley Quinn. Now it's obviously inspired by the DCAU Nightwing, but this one he has short hair. You know, has kind of like a military cut. Like at least in the DCAU, they had him with a mullet, which was a little bit more interesting, and we'll get to that one here in just a second. But this one, they also made his eyes white, and they made him get taken out by Harley Quinn, which I think is a horrible representation. And there's really nothing special going on about this suit. Like, look at it, it's just boring. So I'm gonna put this one in trash, honestly, because the way they represented him getting taken out by Harley Quinn and strung up, like, just very embarrassing for Nightwing, which we'll see a lot of embarrassment for him going through this. But moving on, we have Batman Brave and the Bold Nightwing. So I think this one is actually pretty good. I think they did a good job representing the classic suit that he first appeared in back in the 80s. And yeah, I'm going to put it in good for the most part. Like, this is pretty solid. I don't think it really stands out as a really great or awesome suit. It's just like good enough, you know? So I'm going to put it back in the good section for right now. Moving on to the Batman animated series, or the sequel to that, where Dick Grayson becomes Nightwing. This one, you know, it's decent. It is what it is. When I first saw this, I was a little underwhelmed. Like, I do like his attitude in the show. I think it portrays Nightwing in a good light of being a little bit more edgy now. Like, he's a little darker, not as vibrant as he was as Robin. He's on his own, trying to make his own difference as a man. So I do like this one, but I just think it's pretty mid. Like, there's just nothing dynamic about it. I think this is the first time we see the bird being like the center focus like the little bird head at the V there, and doesn't have the lines down the arms or the finger stripes with the other designs. I think it's all right, but this costume starting the trend of him having the bird on his chest really bothers me because one of the big things I don't like about the bird in general on all the designs that feature it is that it is not symmetrical. Whereas in the New 52 and Injustice game, they have just a spike in place of the bird, which I greatly prefer over the bird. And it is an issue for me that the bird part of it has become the staple for Nightwing because that's like his symbol now, and I don't think we'll ever get away from that. But I'm not the biggest fan of it. I just like the simple V for the most part. So overall, the new Batman Adventures Nightwing, honestly, I think it's just kind of mid. Like, I know that might be a hot take or something, but I'm not the biggest fan of this design. Moving on, we got Nightwing in Under the Red Hood. So this one actually like follows the rules of the '90s suit that first appeared in Chuck Dixon a little bit. There's no bird head; it's just kind of sleek. But again, there's no like finger lines going down the arm. But I do like that he has these blue compartments on his forearms and his ankles where he keeps all of his compartments instead of a utility belt. I think that's very unique. I do think that this suit is honestly pretty awesome. So I'm going to have to put it in there. I do think that they handled him kind of weirdly in this movie where he gets taken out by just like spraining his ankle. Like Nightwing would never sprain his ankle like that. He's the best acrobat in the DC universe. So I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I think he's the best suit we have right now on the board. Moving on, do have Injustice Nightwing, the movie version. So this one, of course, they disgraced Dick Grayson again by having him taken out by a little scramma stick that Robin Damian Wayne throws at him, which is pretty embarrassing. But this suit, like looking at it on its own, it looks pretty good. Like for what like the Injustice universe is, which is just a whole bunch of different armored suits. So if you're gonna do an armored suit, I think it looks all right with the shin pads there and the striping on the arms and some on the thigh there. I think it disperses the blue a decent amount. So for this one, I'm gonna put it in great. I think it's a great design for what it is in the Injustice universe. Everyone is kind of in like a highly militarized suit there. Now there is a second part to that where he becomes the dead man of the Injustice universe. And this one, it's just trash. I'm sorry, but they make him red again for no good reason. Like we'll get to the comics version later. There's like definitely a way that they could have done this better. I get that Dead Man is red, but just nothing about this is like screaming Nightwing or what I'd want. Like they could have kept him blue, but they decided to go with that one. So I'm gonna put this one in trash, honestly. Not good representation in my opinion. Going forward, we got the DC AMU universe Nightwing. So he has three different designs in this universe. This one, it's obviously inspired by the Young Justice Nightwing that was going on, but this scene alone in this movie, like Son of Batman movie, just is pretty embarrassing for Dick Grayson. There's no way Damian Wayne is cutting him up this much, and he constantly gets like just humiliated in this universe. But this design is just very basic, a whole gray and black suit with one little blue bird on the front of the chest. Nothing like too interesting about it. I honestly think this is a bad design for him. Now, moving to the next version where it's the Judas Contract Teen Titans version. I think this one is actually all right. They're trying to do the striping down the arms, which I appreciate. Of course, they can't commit to the lines on the fingers, which I'm not sure why not. But they do have it more like aligned with that original like '90s look for the character. But it is red, which is not my favorite. If this was blue, it'd be way higher up, which we'll get to in a second. But the belt on it as well, I don't think is necessary. Again, I get this version needs utility belts, but my favorite version of Nightwing doesn't have belts. He has his gadgets hidden in different ways. So for this one, I'm just gonna put it in the mid tier. Honestly, it's all right. Like, could be a lot worse, and I think they were doing a good job. Like, for the most part, trying to get the design right. Now, lastly, we do have the. Also, I do like the red collar outline. I think that's an interesting aspect of it. Lastly, we had the Apocalypse War one where they actually. This is great. Like, I really like this one. Again, for some reason, they made the mask a different shade of blue, which is very interesting. But I do like the design for the blue patterning here. How it's very simple. Like the rest of the bodysuit is just black. Again, it has a utility belt, which I'm not the biggest fan of. And I also don't like how there's a line going straight down the center. I mean, if you look at Superboy's suit right there, like he doesn't have a line. Like, why has he got a zipper going up? Just like throws it off for me. But this is like I know what they're trying to do, and I appreciate that. And I think the little spike going up is better than the bird, in my opinion, for the most part. So this one, I'm gonna put it in great. I think this is a great design. Actually, yeah, I think it's better than the Injustice one. I also prefer Nightwing with, medium hair, not super short hair. So this one up here at the top, that's another like point deducted from it. But I still think this is awesome overall design for him, and I think they're capturing the character very well with that one. All right, moving on to the Teen Titans show, Nightwing. So this is the future episode. I really think this one is really cool. I really like what they did with his hair here, and of course they made him a little bit more edgy. And I do like the gray sprinkled throughout. The thing that stands out the most to me about this one is the hair. I think it's really cool. Again, it's just one blue symbol on the chest. Like if you look at this character from behind, like how are you supposed to know that this is Nightwing? Basically, it's just some generic outfit, but I do think they do a good job portraying him here, and I do really like the hair on him. So I'm gonna put this one in and the top of great. And I also think the gauntlets here are really cool as well. Like it's a cool design. The separation of gray and black, I think they do a good job with that as well. Now moving on, there is another suit here that I just wanted to throw in, Red X. Like, come on, this suit is awesome. I just had to throw it in here. I know it's mainly him as Robin, but think about the Harley Quinn show. He does come back as Red X in that one too. So that suit is just peak, like it's just a great version of an alternate Dick Grayson. Gets to use more of his edge, and I really like Dick Grayson in the Teen Titans show. It's great, great adaptation. Do my dog right there. Now, talk about a horrible adaptation is Robin and Teen Titans Go. However, I do think this design for Nightwing is pretty good for like what the show is. You know how that art style, the colors pop here. He's got a little bit of a navy going on with the bright blue symbol here. He's got the mullet, of course, just to be funny, with the blue like gauntlets on his wrist. I do think this is a good design for what Teen Titans Go is. He's got the gray scrumma sticks, and it's kind of taking inspiration from that original design in the OG show. So I'm gonna put this one in good. I don't think it's good as the classic '80s design that Batman Brave and the Bold takes, but I do think it's good. Now this is the Batman Nightwing. I think they did a good job with using this one. I think it's different in its own way. It kind of takes inspiration from the BTAS version of Nightwing with that bird on his chest, but they do add like the blue sheen to his boots as well as his mask. And I do like the blue wings that he has as well. That's another benefit of the BTAS Nightwing suit. But I do think that this one is overall pretty cool. Again, his hair is a little bit shorter than I'd like, but I think this is a good design. I'm gonna put it in good for now. I might change it later, but for the time being, I think it's the top of good. It's better than these other two. Can't just put everything in great and awesome, you know. Now, moving on, we do have another version of Nightwing that shows up in the show, and it's basically the same version as the 80s Disco Wing Nightwing suit. And I think this is, you know, around the same quality as the Batman Brave and the Bold Nightwing. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm just going to put it next to that one. They're pretty much the exact same. You got Nightwing in the Harley Quinn show. Now, the show does Nightwing so much disservice, but you know, I can't really critique it too much because of what the show is and how it makes fun of every single superhero, every single bad guy, basically, and the whole show. It's a parody of the whole universe, DC universe. But this design on its own, I think, is actually really great. This is one of my favorite animated designs. Like when I saw him come in, I was like really optimistic for his portrayal, and like, wow, we're actually getting Nightwing in another media. Like I was so excited, and then they just kind of shafted him the whole series, which it is what it is. That's just kind of how you have to be as a Nightwing fan. You have to deal with that stuff. But I think this is either great or awesome. Just I like the blue, like how light the blue is. The color is cool. I'm a fan of the black mask with the blue striping on the scrumma sticks there. I think it looks pretty sleek. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in awesome actually. Again, it's not necessarily for the portrayal because what can I expect from the Harley Quinn show? They're just gonna make fun of everything. Now going on to Young Justice. Now, of course, I grew up with this show, and I was excited to see Robin turn into Nightwing. Again, like this suit is literally just it's basically the same thing as the first DC AMU suit, but has a better character attached to it. Like Nightwing's actually a dog in this show. Again, it's just nothing really special. I think the gray outlining is cool and all, but it's literally just a blue bird symbol. I can't really say that it's like doing too much for the character. Like you wouldn't be able to tell who this is from the back. Like not the biggest fan, so I'm gonna put it in mid. I think it's better than this red suit just because that's being more true to the character. Yeah, I'm gonna put it right there. I think the DC animated universe with BTAS is still better than that one. Now moving on, we got different versions of his costumes. Where he in season 3 he becomes the spy. I just wanted to include this one as well. It's like a blue design, like has the blue striping throughout it, which I think is pretty cool. Like I think for what it is, this is a good design. Like I like this design for what it is, where they have the blue context lenses to record and everything. I think it's interesting. So I'm gonna put this one in good. Now going back, we got and lastly in season 4 they do add the blue striping down to his wrist. Of course, they don't go fully to his hands. It's a typical pattern we're seeing here. But they do make the whole shoulder pad blue. Again, this design is a little bit more armored than I'd like for Nightwing, but it works for the show. And they do have the little bluebird head there sticking out. And I don't think the color is exactly right. I think it should be a little bit of a brighter blue, my opinion, but it's definitely an improvement from what they were doing. So I'm gonna put this one, yeah, at the top of good for right now. I think this is a good design. It's just not what specifically I would prefer in general. Like there's some things that are just throwing it off, like the compartments on the side. But I do like the black mask. I think it looks good. Like this is definitely the best version that they had in the show, and I was excited when I saw this one. I'm gonna put it at the top of good. I think it's better than all these other ones. It's almost that great. I might change my mind there, but for the time being, I'm gonna put it in there. So this one is one of the Lego animated movies, like Lego DC Batman Family Matters. But this version is literally just like kind of the new 52 Nightwing, but blue is the design on the top with the see-through blue pieces there as his batons there. And I think this one, that's all right. Like I don't like this headpiece for like Lego Nightwing, and we're gonna get to like more of the Lego versions when we get to the video game section. But this one in general, I think it's alright. It's just like that hairpiece throws it off for me. I don't know. There's like so much better that you could do with like Lego. So I'm gonna put this one. I'll put this one in mid. Honestly, it's just not doing too much for me. I like the blue, but there's really nothing special about it. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna put it above the Judas Contract one. Now here we go. We got the Nightwing and the Batman Ninja movies. So this is an odd one. I do think that this design is actually pretty good for Nightwing. Like for what it is, Nightwing being like a samurai slash ninja, this works for me. Like I think they do like the V right on his chest. They incorporate the blue very well, and I do think the anime hair is pretty cool on Nightwing. I do like how long it is in that mask also as well. So I'm gonna put this one in great. I think this one is a great depiction of what Nightwing would be like if he was, yeah, in like an anime or yeah, as a ninja. I think it's cool. Now moving forward, we got the the other versions of him from the different movies. So this is the first one I saw in the Yakuza Batman movie, and then we move on to this other one, which they're both just too mechanized in my opinion. Like, what are we doing? Like, is this still Batman Ninja? Like, what's going on here? I don't understand it. And then so these two, like, I don't know. I just don't like what they're doing here. The hair is still cool, but they're just losing the plot here. So I'm gonna put both of these in bad real quick, and then we'll go on to the very last one that they have. I think these are. I don't know. I think they're better than this version just because they're not red. You know, they're sticking to the blue theme, which I appreciate. But going to the last one that appears in this one, it's kind of crazy. Like Nightwing goes Super Saiyan in this movie for some reason. There's just too much going on with this. Why is he yellow all around? They're losing the plot here. He's just got rainbow powers. I don't understand what is happening. And I haven't seen this movie, but I hear it's horrible, so I don't think I ever will. But let me know in the comments if you liked this movie or any of these medias. You can always disagree with me down in the comments. I just want to hear your guys' thoughts. Again, this is all subjective opinions here, but for this one, yeah, it's trash. I think this is the bottom of the trash. Like that's just not Nightwing, not who he is. Now it looks like we got through all of the animated Nightwing versions, so let's move on to the Batman versions of Dick Grayson here. So this one is in Batman Bad Blood, and he's basically just wearing a navy Batman suit. Like it's different than the default one in the DC AMU universe, and he's got like the yellow utility belt and the blue shoes here and the yellow symbol there. I think it's all right. Like it is what it is, but there's nothing like special about it. Like it's just another Batman suit. There's no like individuality to it. He's just like cosplaying for Batman while he's missing, sort of thing. So for this one in particular, I'm gonna put it in mid. I think it's all right. It's like not doing. I don't know. It's like almost good. It's just nothing special about it, so I can't really honestly put it in good. Then we move on to Batman Brave and the Bold Nightwing version, where it's like a possible future that Alfred is writing. I think this one is pretty cool. Like, I like the sheen that they have on it, the shine. And again, like you got to think about the Batman Brave and the Bold costume compared to this one. This one obviously takes more inspiration from the normal Batman designs, but I do like how like spiky those gauntlets are, and I do think that the design on his cowl, that little like V shape there, is kind of cool. Stands out a little bit more, and I think it's like honestly a great version of what like Batman would be like if Dick Grayson took over the role and took it on like for a full stop. Wasn't trying to imitate Bruce Wayne, but was trying to be his own version of Batman. So I'm gonna put this one in great. I think it's above the Injustice Nightwing there. Now we're moving to the comics section of the video. So we're starting off with a good one here. This is a great design. I really like this one. It was designed by Bruno Ridaldo, and first arrived in Nightwing issue 88 in 2021. I tried to do a lot of research on the comics side for who the artists were, so I'm trying to give them all the credit and just give you some background on where you can first see these designs show up. So I do like they finally brought back the striping down the arm, which we'll get to in like other versions, but they like held off on that for a long time after bringing them back. They do add like the blue palms to them, so it's not just the fingers, which I think is all right. But one thing that's holding it back for me is the mask. I'm not the biggest fan of the mask being blue. I think it kind of looks weird on his face. I prefer like a black mask just to be, I think it's more like slimming, and I think I don't know, like the white with the blue, it just doesn't fit right to me. This is what you'll see like later on. But and I also don't like the bird symbol, and it's kind of like very simplistic. He did like a good job bringing it back, but there's like no depth to this artist, and or not to the artist, but to this design. And I think the blue on the bottom of the shoes is a cool addition as well. So this one I think it's pretty great design. This is like Nightwing when he actually started looking like Nightwing again. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's better than the Apocalypse War Nightwing right now. So moving on, we got another Bruno Redondo. Nightwing here is the bearded Nightwing version. Appeared first in 2024 in Nightwing issue 114. These are also piggybacking off the Nightwing 2016 rerun after DC Rebirth. So this one I think is pretty cool. It's a cool design. I think I like what they're doing here, like for what it is. He's got the boots on, like he's still Nightwing, but gruffer. Like I like the wraps around his arms. I think those are pretty cool. Like he just looks like a beefy dude here, which I think is a cool design for him. Grows out the beard. I really like this one. I think it's actually, yeah, it's not as good as the other one we just looked at, but I do like it for what it is. So I'm going to put this one in the great tier as well. I do think, yeah. All right, moving forward. Now, this is the Batman Battle for the Cowl Nightwing. So this you might think that this is the Chuck Dixon Nightwing, but there's one difference that separates it. So this one, the spikes that are usually on his collarbone, they are up his traps for some reason. I don't know why they changed this design for this one storyline, but leading up to it, it was the Chuck Dixon design, or the we'll get to it, Scott McDaniel design. But this one I think is really really awesome. Like this is kind of what I expect Nightwing to look like for the most part, and I think they do a good job portraying him in the story arc as well. I'm gonna put this one in awesome. I think this one is the best one we've seen so far. All right, going forward now. This is the first appearance of this sleek '90s suit. It was designed originally by Greg Land and Brian Stelfreeze. And I think the ponytail is a little ridiculous, but disregarding that, the mask is cool. I like the sleekness of it. Again, like they do put the blue bottom on the shoes here, which I think is cool, but this is like the first design that Scott McDaniel gets inspiration of and then I think improves upon in the later issues. So this one first appeared in the Nightwing miniseries in 1995, issue number 2. And I think this one was very influential, and I really gotta appreciate for what they did to Nightwing because I don't think he wouldn't be my favorite character without this suit design to begin with. I'm gonna put this one, yeah, at the top of awesome as well. All right, it's the moment we've been waiting for. Scott McDaniel's design and the Chuck Dixon 1996 run. So this one first appeared in Nightwing issue 1 in 1996, and it was the comic version of Nightwing all the way up until 2009. And man, this was a great run for Nightwing. This is my all-time favorite suit. I don't think you can beat this suit. If you're gonna ask me, this is what I want every design to look like for Nightwing. I think this is his ultimate peak. Like he's got the striping, he's got the collarbone spikes that the Greg Land and Brian Stelfreeze design did, but all he did was cut off all that hair. You know, he's got longish hair, medium hair. He's got the black mask. He doesn't have any like special electricity screma sticks. They're just normal batons, and he keeps all of his gadgets in his shin guards and wrist, piggybacking off of his gloves. I think this is the peak design. I just love rereading all those Chuck Dixon runs. Like I've read that whole run from, I mean, 1996 to even 2009 past Chuck Dixon. So I really appreciate this design, and this is what made me my Nightwing my favorite character, was partially because of this. So I'm gonna put it's the best of all time. That's my opinion on that. I think that one is great. Like it's just so iconic for him. And the finger striping, there's no like excess bird design in the middle of his chest. Like he doesn't need that. All he needs is that little V there. Now moving on, gotta get back to reality here. Not everything can be as peak as that. And here we go. Nightwing and Injustice. Now this one, like they neuter his hair to be just like a military cut, and there's like nothing really special about this design. I mean, he's blue, which is all right, but he just has shoulder pads and a V symbol, and of course, he's most infamously known for just dying, in the same way that he did in the animated movie, just getting accidentally thrown like a stick at his neck and then or his temple, and then it like kills him. Like it doesn't make any sense that Nightwing would be caught off guard like that. It's just so disrespectful, in my opinion. But you know, DC loves disrespecting my boy, so I get it. It is what it is. But this alternate timeline, we just gotta keep telling ourselves that this one, I'm gonna put it in bad. It's bad. I think it's it's upper bad, but there's nothing special about it. Like and the way they treat him in this universe, like yeah, thank you, not for me. But this was designed by Mike S. Miller in the 2013 Injustice Comics run. Then going forward, we got the Dead Man Nightwing. So this one I think is actually, it's pretty cool for what it is. Like this is what the animated Dead Man Nightwing should have looked like, in my opinion. Like, how can you look at this and not be like kind of enamored by it? It's different. Like he's got the white skin color here and the white outlining with the blue. I think it's all right. Again, it's not like my favorite depiction of what Nightwing is or who he should be. He's not technically Nightwing anymore. He's like Dead Man Nightwing. So this one, I think it's all right. It's just not great. I'm gonna put it in mid for now. Still think it's better. Yeah, I think I like it a little bit more than these two here. Now we got Batman Beyond Dick Grayson. So this is the comic runs where we find out what happened to Richard Grayson in this universe, and he kind of looks like a Nick Fury type here. I like the gray on the side of his hair there, and the eye patch I think is pretty cool. I think for what it is, this is a good design. I think this one, it's honestly, I think for what it is, it's cooler than the discoing design. Now there is another Batman Beyond version. I'm not too familiar with the comics of Batman Beyond, but this one is the Future's End, Richard Grayson, and it's literally just like a motorcycle suit. Like that's like what he appears in, like on a motorcycle to save the day, but it's just kind of all over the place. So I think it's not bad, but I think it's just mid, honestly. I think yeah. Now for the good stuff. This is I'm just being sarcastic. This is awful. Like I don't know what they're thinking. Just another DC editorial being like such a dick to Dick. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like a jumpsuit, like Dicky boy. Like what type of like who came up with this idea to have like Joker brainwash him as his minion? Like they just disrespect Richard Grayson like all the time in DC, and you just have to deal with it. But this one, it's just trash. Like this is one of the worst designs ever for Dick Grayson. Like you can't get much worse than this, but they'll try. We'll see. Now going on to we got Dick Grayson as Talon. I think this one for what it is, it's good. Like you can tell by his hair that this is Dick Grayson, like the facial structure, like. But again, it's just like a generic Talon outfit. But I think it looks pretty cool. Like I like this one, so I'm gonna put this one. And good. I think it's good. It's just not like what you want Nightwing to look like, but for what it is, I think it's good. After that, we got this 2006 Teen Titans version of Talon and Earth 3. This one, he's under Owlman. And it's just kind of embarrassing. Like, I don't know. It's just nothing like screams Dick Grayson there to me. And I guess you can see kind of the Robin in him, but it just looks lame to me. And I don't think this character is supposed to be very cool. So I'm going to put this one in bad. It's bad. All right. Next, we got a pretty good one. This is Future State Nightwing. So it's set in the future where Lucius Fox's other kid is Batman. And this design is like really good in my opinion. Like the only thing that is wrong about it is the chin strap. Like I like the shoulders and the blue on the shins and the knee pads. Like if you're gonna do an armored Nightwing design, this is like probably what I'd want it to be, look like. I think this is like better than the Injustice version, but again, that chin strap is just like holding it back for me. Other than that, though, like this would probably be an awesome design. I'm gonna have to put it in great for now. I think it is still a great design, just not like my favorite, obviously. Moving on, we got the Grayson design for Nightwing, or Richard Grayson. I mean, Dick Grayson. And I think this, for what it is, it's good. Like he's supposed to be a spy during this time, and I like the little hints of blue here, where I think it's stupid that he has a G on his chest there, but I do like the blue sparse throughout, like on his gloves and the lining separating that gray and the darker gray as well on his shoes. I think for what it is, this is a good design. Again, not like who Nightwing is, but or who Dick Grayson is. Like, kind of just got shafted beforehand, so where he had to be a spy because they humiliated him in front of the whole world, like they do all the time to us in the real world. But going forward, we got the Immortal Nightwing. So this is a version of him that came out just last year, like the design by Dan Mora. Oh, by the way, this is Nicola Scott made this design, and then Mikkel Janin made this one, which I think need to be highlighted. Dan Mora made this one, and I get it's supposed to be like a mech suit for Nightwing. It's supposed to be like a anime type version of what the Bat family would be. But I think they're just doing way too much. Like the yellow being brought back, like I understand it. It's just not like a good design for my opinion. Like when you look at this, do you see Nightwing? I don't think so. So in that case, I'm gonna put it as bad. But I still think it's better than these Yakuza Nightwing suits. All right, now we got the Kingdom Come 1996 Richard Grayson, where he uses the Red Robin suit. Now, Alex Ross made this and did all the art, and maybe I haven't read it. I haven't read the book yet, but I'm just not a fan of this art style for the most part. I don't know. It doesn't look like professional in a way. Like the costumes look, like actual costumes someone would make for Comic Con or something. And from what I've seen, and this one in particular, I don't think fits. Richard Grayson. He's supposed to be Nightwing. I don't think the Red Robin mantle belongs to him. That belongs to a different character that I might get to another time. But for that reason, just because I'm not like a big hater on the costume, but just Dick Grayson as Red Robin, I'm not the biggest fan of. So I'm gonna put that. All right, so this is the first redesign for Nightwing back in the 90s. First appeared in the new Teen Titans issue 88 in 1992. And this was illustrated by Tom Grummett. And I actually, yeah, really like this design. Like it's mullet wing, classic from the 90s. It looks just so much like a 90s costume. Like, how can you be mad at this one? The wings, I think, are pretty cool from his shoulders, like to his lats there, I think is pretty cool. And they do like the V shape there, but in a yellow. And then the light blue gloves and boots are pretty interesting. I think this is still like such a classic Nightwing design. Like it still looks like Nightwing, the one from the 80s, just a little bit, 90s-ified. But he only kept this costume for like 3 years. This one I'm gonna put in great. I think this is a great design. All right, moving on. We got another stinker, in my opinion. We got Nightwing in the New 52. Now, this is like the first instance of where they make Nightwing red, and every other like media after this point was like, oh, let's make Nightwing red for some reason. Like he's just gonna be red now, and I don't understand what they're doing. I guess they're trying to make like him more edgy by being red. It just doesn't fit who he is. There's already enough red characters in like the Batman family to where like Nightwing stood out because he was blue for the most part. So I don't like this design. Like the red eyes is interesting. I think it could have worked if it was blue. It'd be a lot better, in my opinion. The red part. I I think it's cool that the spike is there, but again they keep it to just like a simple V pattern up the shoulder and don't like continue the lining down the arm. But I do think like the base design there is pretty cool. Like the rivets on the boots and the gauntlets are decent. It's just the red I can't really get over. I'm gonna put it. I think it's above the mech suit there. All right. Now I'm gonna go against my principle here, and I'm gonna put this one in the good tier. Like this is Brett Booth. He made this design, and this was debuted in issue 19 of the New 52 Nightwing run. And it appeared until in 2013 to 2014. This one appeared in 2011, the kickoff of the New 52. But this one, I think, like just expanded on it and actually like added the finger lining. I think that was huge. Like they made him actually. It looks like they tried to actually make him look like the Nightwing from the 90s. It's just in a red style. And I think the red under his eyes is a cool concept. I think Brett Booth is pretty good at designing like the detail and characters, and I like what he did for the character here. If you had to make him red, like this is the probably the best version you can get. So I'm gonna put this one. I think it's yeah, it's good. It's good design. Now we got the Rebirth Nightwing. So this one appeared in 2016 with the launch of Rebirth and kickstarted the Nightwing run that's still ongoing that started in 2016. This was drawn by Javier Fernandez and Chris Sotomayor, and Ivan Reese are the artists that I found for this design. But I do appreciate when I first saw Nightwing was coming back and had his blue color, I was so happy about this. But then I looked more at the design and I'm like, wow, I really actually don't like this design that much. I think if they stuck with what Brett Booth had done back in 2014 or 2013 and just made that blue, like that would have been way better than this. Like they added blue on his shins there, and then the design. Like I don't know why they made the blue lining like so slim, and they gave him a blue mask, which started that whole trend of him having a blue mask, which I'm not a fan of. And he doesn't have the lining down his arms. He just got like the knuckles on his like gloves are blue, and he has again like the blue mask. But I'm not the biggest fan of this design. Honestly, like I don't like seeing this design, and most media adaptations like use this one as a piggyback, like kind of like what the Harley Quinn show did, and we'll get to like another version of that later. But I think this one is a bad design for Nightwing. It's better than this red one, but I still think this red Nightwing design, like the chest pattern, is way better than this blue one. But since he's blue, like I gotta give him the edge there. But still, like these are all bad in my opinion. All right, now we're going back in time a little bit to 2005. This was in the OG Nightwing run that started in the 90s with Chuck Dixon. It was issue 112 of that series. And this was Phil Hester and Ande Parks made this design. And this was when Nightwing was having trouble after the whole Bloodhaven fiasco. If you read the series, you know what I'm talking about. But he left Bloodhaven for a time and was kind of being a bad guy, like a bad enforcer. And I do think this design is all right for what it is, like the maroon and the red. Like maybe this is where people in the future got their red Nightwing designs from. And I think for what it is, it's all right, like the cowl. But and I do like the spike on his gauntlets. I think that's like interesting. It's an interesting design for him, but again, for Dick Grayson's not what you're looking for. I think the design is just pretty mid in my opinion. All right. And then this one is a Bernard Chang in issue number 40, and then Travis Moore in issue number 75. So this is after Nightwing gets embarrassed and becomes Rick Grayson, which we'll get to in just a second, unfortunately. But when he comes back in issue 75, this is the suit that they give him. And I think this is an improvement for sure over the Rebirth design, the initial one. I do think the V on his chest is a lot more boldened. And I do like how the shoulder blades are all like separated by the blue there and the blue palms. I think this is a really good design. Honestly, the mask I would have preferred to be black, as my preferences have shown. Initially, when I was doing my research, like I noticed this design in issue 40 by Bernard Chang. It looked like they messed up and with the design, and then Travis Moore made this like official when he took over in the issue 75 when Nightwing actually became Nightwing again. So this one, I think it's pretty good. It's not great, but I think it's good. I think it's the top of good. Like it's almost great, but there's just a few little elements that are missing. Again, like his hair is not as long as I'd like it to be for my personal preferences. But what are you gonna do? All right. Speaking of the devil, now we got Rick Grayson, and he has two suits. He's got this one, and he's got this other one. Now these are both atrocious, and I never want to see this version of Dick Grayson ever again. Like look at this title. It says "The Return of Rick Grayson." Like no one wants you to return. Like at last, a return. It's just embarrassing. No one likes this arc. Why would they do this and still call it Nightwing? It's just like very embarrassing that this was what DC had decided to do with their character. Decided to humiliate Dick Grayson in this way. So both of these are trash. I think this one is just slightly better than this other one. Like this is literally just like gym wear, like nothing special about it. Like he has the fade on the side, like that's not who Dick Grayson is. I know that's the whole point, but here he's got like the military cut here, like short hair. It's just embarrassing. Like this has to go down there with Dickie Boy for just humiliating the character. I think these are both. I don't know. Like Dickie Boy is probably worse than this first one, just because the first one, like, I get what they're trying to do. He's just like a street hero at that point, but like this is just so embarrassing. All of these costumes here, very embarrassed for Nightwing. Like they would never do this shit to Batman. Now moving on, and I don't even want to say the artist that did the designs. Like they don't deserve all that hate. Now this one is a really recent design made by Dexter Soy in the new Nightwing run that just is coming out right now. It's this debuted in issue 127 in 2025, and this is actually like a really good armor design. I think this is one of the best armor designs that they have had for Nightwing, and I think that symbol in the chest, it doesn't connect to the arms or the shoulders, but I do think if you're gonna just do a simple symbol there, I think that's what you're supposed to do. They also keep the lining down his arm to the fingers on this one, but they do give him a blue mask that's kind of funky looking. And but I do like the blue on his shoes and the shins. I think that's like an interesting way to do armor on him. And I think this one is one of the top ones at the top for the great section of the tier list. I think it's better than this Bruno one. I just like the art style that Dexter Soy has more than Bruno over here. I think it just has a little more grit to it. Gives me more of that classic Nightwing 90s style. Now this one is pretty interesting. It's made by Travis Moore and Eduardo Pansica. Sorry if I pronounced those names wrong. But this is like a super Nightwing where he gets like superpower, super strength, and fly. And issue 104 of the 2016 run debuted in 2023. But I really like this design actually. I think this is pretty great for if Nightwing were to get superpowers. Like you can tell that they're using like the yellow as like inspiration. The yellow mask is unique, like it's never been done before. And I think for what it is, like this is a really awesome design in my opinion. I think it's the bottom of awesome, but if Nightwing were to get superpowers, like it makes sense for him to be this flashy. In my opinion, I think they did a good job capturing that with this design. I think this one is gonna go an awesome. And look at our tier list right now. So many characters. Wow. Now moving on, we do have the George Perez Nightwing. This is a really great Nightwing. Like this is the classic, the first debut of Nightwing and Tales of the Teen Titans issue 44 in 1984. Now this one you can't go wrong with it. I know I was talking about the other ones just being good that are inspired by it, the one in the Batman and the Brave and the Bold. But this one I think is just above them just for the nostalgia, like the classicness of it all. Like I can't be mad at this one. I think since this started Nightwing as a character, I'm just gonna have to be biased and put this one in awesome. Like this is one of the most iconic designs for Nightwing. They don't usually go back to it, but it cemented itself in history for what it is. And like you gotta give it to that. Like without that initial design, we would never have all these other designs. And you gotta hand it to George Perez for making something so like creative in the first place. Moving on, we got another Brett Booth design in Titans Rebirth. So this is what he was doing in the artist room. Now this one is really cool. Like It takes inspiration from the Travis Moore design in 2016 as well. This one is pretty good. I like the knuckles on this one. It's all right. Like they do keep the shin pads there, and the neck lining for the blue is all right. Again, they don't have like the striping down the arms, and I do think the symbol is pretty thick here. But I think this is a great design for Nightwing overall. The blue mask is all right, but I do like. I think the side, having the blue on the side, is a little unnecessary, but I get what they're going for, just putting more blue in to separate the black. A little bit, maybe a little bit over designed, but I still think this is a great design for Nightwing. Again, could his hair be longer? Yes, but I think this is a great design nonetheless. I'm gonna go through and reorder this at the very end, do a review. But right now, kind of getting hard to think critically about this all at once. Now, this is Scott McDaniel and Andy Owens in the year one Nightwing storyline. So, this is like supposed to be his first ever suit that he uses before he gets the one that debuted in 1984. This one, it's just blue on blue with like the disco like aspect to it, but it's like mainly supposed to be like his circus uniform that he like just turns into his crime fighting uniform. But there's nothing really special about this. It's just like navy blue on light blue. And I think that the 84 design, definitely the George Perez design, definitely puts this one to shame. It is what it is. Like, this is what they decided to, Chuck Dixon decided to make the costume for his first outing as Nightwing, but once he gets inspired by Superman. But I think this one is just, it's almost good. It's just the top of mid for me. All right. Now we got one of the best recent designs, in my opinion. Like Dexter Soy cooked with this one, in my opinion, and Nightwing issue 119 when Dan Waters took over in 2024. This is like almost peak. This is as close as we've gotten back to the classic 90s design that's in the best of all time. This one has the bird on the top of the V there, which without that, this might be like second best in my opinion. But I just love the way it's drawn. Like I think it's cool how they have the spikes on the traps this way. I think it works better on this design, and then the blue on the bottom of the shoes is pretty cool as well. But I really like this design for Nightwing. They keep it. They do keep like the palms blue and the fingers, which is all right. But this one, yeah, it's gonna be the top of awesome for me. Yeah, I think this one honestly gotta be better than the debut, in my opinion. All right, now we got the first debut of Dick Grayson as Batman in the comics. This is back in 1994, I believe, and he was this for 1 year in the Batman Prodigal arc in the 1990s when Batman was recovering still from Bane. And the artists I have listed here are Mike Gustavich, Brett Blevins, Lee Weeks, Phil Jimenez, Graham Mullen, Ron Wagner, and Tom Grummett again. So these ones all created this, which is basically, just the same as Bruce Wayne's Batman design. As you can see, him in the back. But I think this is good for what Nightwing is. Like, it makes sense for him to be blue, like have the classic blue colors that Batman had in the 90s. I think this is a good design for him as a Batman. Like, I could see Dick Grayson being the classic blue, like the bright blue design. So I think it's good. I think it's better than the DC AMU like navy design. I just like it more. Like, is what it is. Now we've reached the Batman comics designs for Dick Grayson. All right, now this is the 2009 Batman and Robin run, Nightwing, where he was Batman after Bruce Wayne was presumed dead for 2 years. But I think this design is pretty cool. Like they have like the bat symbol as the belt buckle, which is interesting. If you look at the bat design on his chest, it like spreads out a little bit more, like kind of resembling what Nightwing had with his V shape there. And then the gauntlets are a little bit shorter. Like he doesn't have like three spikes; it's only two there, which is like interesting. They like kept his gloves like a little bit more compact, but I think this is a good design for him. A good classic Batman design. It's also the one that appears in the Black Mirror, and I actually am a big fan of Nightwing becoming Batman. In a way, I think it was a good progression, and Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne, I think, was one of the best Batman and Robin duos. I don't like with the new 52 to just reset all that, but it is what it is. But I do really like this. Like, look how acrobatic Dick Grayson can be if he was the Batman. So, yeah, I'm gonna put this one. I'm gonna put this one in great. I think it's great. It's not like a Nightwing design per se, but I think it's a great Batman, like a Nightwing Batman. Now, next we got the Batman Earth 3 versions, or Earth 2, I'm sorry. This first one is by Jorge Jimenez. I'm not exactly sure like where these ones like appeared or when they did, but this is also another Earth 2 where he's red instead of the yellow accent by Bruno Redondo and Diogenes Neves. So sorry about that pronunciation, but trying to give the artist their credit here. I think I like the Jorge one better, just because I don't know. Yellow is a little more unique. The red one kind of looks more like Batman from Flashpoint, and that character is its own like box to open. But I think I like the yellow one more here. I think it's a good design, like a good alternate Batman design in my opinion. So I'm gonna put this one in good. I think it's good. And then this red one, I think it's just mid. I don't think it's like the best. It could be a lot worse, but why would Nightwing become red again? In my opinion. Now, lastly, for the comics versions of Dick Grayson, we have Dan Mora's most recent Night Fight, um, Dick Grayson Batman, and that debuted in 2025. Like this is awesome. Like this is a great design for Nightwing as Batman. It's like if Nightwing wasn't ashamed that he was Nightwing before. Not saying that he is now, but you know that this is Nightwing as Batman, basically. Like everyone can tell that based on like the blue accents and that bat symbol like resembles his like V lining that he had. Like it's just a very creative. Like I like the black and the gray separation here. I think is very cool for what they did with the character, and I really like that portrayal is interesting with the robins and everything. But this is like an awesome design. Like it's great. Like it's up there with the best in my opinion. Like I think this is like the ultimate Nightwing Batman look, in my opinion. So that completes the comics side of Nightwing suits. I mean Nightwing costumes. Going on, we got to get into the video game side of Nightwing. So first off, we got the Dark Legion mobile game, I believe that this is the Nightwing for, and this is a really great design. Like I really like this one. It's like an armored look for him, but the hair is like perfect. I like the mask. They do have the striping down the arm is kind of questionable. Maybe not actually, but I do think they're gonna do like a tech design. This is cool, like with like the forearm guards and the lining. I think this is a great design in my opinion. That hair is just like perfect for me, and I like how they're keeping the black part of it like the focus with just a little bit of blue on like the arms. Like I know what they're doing with they're like taking the '90s aspect and like trying to modernize it a little bit, which I can respect. Again, they have like the bird head there, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I think it's still a great design for them. Now, moving on, we got another mobile game, I believe, DC Legends. So we got a couple of different designs for Nightwing here. We got this first one, which I think is a good design. I think it's very interesting. Like they have kind of blue as the secondary like lining throughout like different black armor pieces. The bird is like restricted to the chest area, but they do have like the blue lining throughout it, and I think it like separates the costume pretty well, in my opinion. So I think this is a good design for them. And put it, yeah, I think it's pretty good design. All right, now we got they do have this other version of him, which is definitely more bulky, has like the chin strap cowl look to it, which is a little unfortunate in my opinion. And the I don't know, it's just I think it's too bulky in my opinion. Like they're doing, I like the blue symbol on the chest, but then they make like the whole shoulder pads like huge, and they don't translate the blue down to like his arms or fingers or anything like that. I think this one and it's just too militarized in the wrong way for me. Like we've gone over how they can do that in a good way before, but I think this one I don't like this design. And then while we're at it, like got this other red one here, and if this was a blue accent instead of red, if the red was blue, this could be a contender for like good or great. But since it's red, like it just pulls me out of it. Like why would you want to use this red design? I guess if you're a fan of Red Nightwing, this works for you, but to me, I'm not a fan of this one. So both these, I think, are bad. I think this one's a little bit better, but this one, I don't know. It's like I guess better than the Batman Ultimate ones. All right, moving on to Arkham Nightwing. Now this one is almost peak in my opinion. This is a really awesome Nightwing design. Like for what the Arkham universe is, this is really cool. Like they continue the striping down the arms. Like there's no bird symbol there. It's just the V with the spikes on the collarbone, like in the Chuck Dixon run. The plating is pretty cool. Like I think it's really sleek, but also like militarized. My opinion, like this is the best like video game Nightwing we've had. Like I don't think it gets better than this, and this is the one like I'm always rocking when I'm playing. Even Batman Arkham Knight, I'm glad they brought it back for that one. This one debuted in Arkham City though. So for that, I'm gonna put this one at the top of awesome. Honestly, I think it's just like that good. Like I like the hair on him too as well. If you go back to it, like he looks great. It's kind of hard to see, but he has like the medium length hair. I think his screma sticks are cool enough, like with the electricity on these ones, and the mask is dope as well. But unfortunately, they decided to change his design to this and Arkham Knight, which I am not a fan of at all. I think this is pretty bad in my opinion. Like, what's with this? The cowl piece, like from his chin up to his forehead, like they're just doing too much with this. Also, like the blue V, like there's nothing interesting with that. It's just like it just looks like a V connected to his shoulders, and it's not going down his arms anymore. They added like blue to his like knee pads there, and like a like pouches on his side, like and also like his haircut just looks bad and his head shape. Like I don't know what they're doing, but they just like messed up big time. I'm glad I could change when I played. Like I just changed it to Arkham Nightwing like immediately, so you won't have to look at this because how can you look at this cowl and not be like disgusted? In my opinion, like it just doesn't work. For that, I'm gonna put this one in bad. Like it's pretty bad. like almost as bad as like Red Nightwing, in my opinion. And speaking of, we got the next Arkham Nightwing, which is of course based on the New 52 loosely. Again, like if this was blue, it'd be definitely. I think it would be better than the other default Arkham Nightwing, but still, like look at his hair. Just like what's with his head shape? Why does it look like that? And it's a little armored too much on the shoulders, in my opinion. The red on the bottom, like if that was blue again, like this would be like a decent skin. But I just think they like got the design wrong for this. Like I do like again the concept of the V with the spike on the top and the bottom. I think that's a cool aspect with spikes going from on the collarbone. I think it could have worked with just a little bit more tweaking, and if it was blue, but just not good in my opinion. Like bottom of bad, honestly. So like that design, like character model, is just not good in my opinion. I think it's better than Talon or the Red Robin in my opinion. All right, going on to DC Online Nightwing. Now this one is the first Nightwing they did, and this is yeah one of my favorite designs for Nightwing. Honestly, this is a great design. I think it's one of the top tier ones. I'm really like happy with this. I know they have like the bird at the top of the chest, but I think it works for the simplicity of this. Would I have preferred it without and just the V? Yes, but if they had to, I do think this hair is all right too. I like that you get to be able to team up with him in the in one of the missions early on, and I do like this design. I think they did a good job like creating him, like modernizing him, but also keeping to his classic '90s look. So this one I'm gonna put above Harley Quinn Nightwing. Now, after they did that awesome design, they decided to crap on it by producing this garbage, which is, obviously based on the Rebirth design where he had like the limited lining. But it's like, look at that, like with his arms crossed, like it just looks horrible too. Like the blue mask, like clashes with his skin, and like they made his hair way worse and like shorter. The mask like design is also like lame. Like just like it's just so bland, and how I don't like the Rebirth design, but this is like even worse, like depiction. I don't know, it's just bad. Like gotta put this in bad. Honestly, yeah, I think it's worse than the Arkham design, in my opinion. Going forward, we got the Gotham Knights version of Nightwing. I was excited for this game coming out because you get to finally play as Nightwing. Now they did like nothing to like make the story like super interesting because every character had the same cutscenes basically. So they like weren't able to go like in depth with the character motivation. Everything was just surface level. But speaking on the design alone, it just seems like lazy to me. Like I think it's cool on his biceps where he has the blue like coming through the armor padding. Again, this is like the default design too. Like you have a whole bunch of customization in that, and if you guys want me to make a tier list on all the different suits you can customize in Gotham Knights for Nightwing, I'd love to do that because I think there's like a lot better options for him. But again, like for his build in general, like he's too like linebacker, like football player looking in my opinion. I don't think like from what you look at the other comic designs, like he's supposed to be slender, more slender than this. I don't know. I think they just got like the torso design wrong, and they made him like too big in a way. I mean, not like overly, but there's just something off about it. The traps design there with the blue, like I don't know. It just leaves like room for improvement for sure. But I don't think it's like one of the worst designs. I just don't think it's good. I think it's bad. I'm gonna put it. I think it's man. Is it better than Rebirth? I think it is. Then moving on, we got The Injustice Nightwing appeared in 2013, I believe. This one's interesting. Like, it's obviously like close to the Injustice movie design, but I think this one's a little bit less in a way. Like, the colors are more muted, and like he has more of the Nightwing logo on his like forearm and shoulder. I do like appreciate them not doing that bird symbol on his chest, but again, like his hair is pretty short here. Not like the biggest fan. Like you can see it here. They are like going hardcore with that like bird design for him. But I think it's it's good. I just don't think it's like the best. Like they could have done so much more, and even adding like the longer hair would have done a lot for this design. I feel like, but I'm gonna put it in good. I think it's better than yeah. I think this one yeah. But moving on, we got another Nightwing design from Injustice. It's like the mobile game. I'm not sure if it was in the other versions that came out on console, but this one again is just like New 52 inspired Nightwing. You already know the drill with this one. It's just it's bad. It looks worse than the New 52 Nightwings in general. Because those ones like actually have like style and artist like expression. So I'm gonna put this one. Yeah, bad. I think this one is worse than the. Yeah, I think it's worse than the other Arkham ones. All right, now we're moving on to Lego Nightwing. So this one is from the most recent Lego DC Supervillains video game, and I know they're making that new Legacy of the Dark Knight Lego Batman game, and I don't have any like costumes from there because I want to wait till it's completely out and then make like an own video on it, or yeah, look at those like once I can actually like observe them fully. But I'm excited about that game. This one, I think this is a great design for Nightwing. I know I was saying this is basically like the rebirth Nightwing. I understand that, but with the simplicity of what Nightwing is as a Lego, like you can only do so much, and like highlighting the blue portions on a Nightwing character works. Like again, like if he had like a black mask, I think it would be better. But this one is good, but not my favorite Lego design. And we'll get to there. This one, I think it's pretty great. Moving on, we got this design. Now this one is the classic first ever Lego Nightwing design, and this is the best. Like they haven't been able to beat this. Like I love the anime hair design. He just looks like he got like an edge to it. This might have been like the first ever time I was exposed to Nightwing. And I was like, who is that character that I just bought in the Lego Batcave? But this one, it's classic. Like it's nostalgic. Again, like the hair does so much for him, and you can tell like it's based off the '90s design or the only design Nightwing really had at that time. And I'm okay with the arms being full blue. Like I think it works for a Lego, just with the limitations that they have. Like I think it works pretty well, and I think this is an awesome design, honestly. Gotta put them up there. Yeah, awesome. And of course they had to do the New 52 design for Lego Batman 3 when I think the New 52 was still active when this game came out. So they of course went with that one, but it's just bland. Like it's basically just that same one we went over with the Lego Batman movie earlier, the animated movie, but red and with the red eyes that originally started in the New 52. Like if all these people in the video games made the second design that they did for that Brett Booth did, like the Red Nightwing costumes wouldn't be as bad. Like if they gave him red arms and I don't know, they could have done better, but still like doesn't defeat the fact that he's red, and I'm not the biggest fan of that. This one, in my opinion, is a bad design. Hmm. Still think it's Yeah, it's not as bad as unlimited ones. I think those ones, started out with bad ones. And lastly, we have the Grayson Lego figure from that same game, Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. This one, it is just basically the same thing as the Grayson figure or Grayson comic suit, so I'm just gonna have to put it next to him. Like, I think it does a decent amount job. Like, you know what it is. It is what it is. Like, it's just trying to be Grayson. Now, moving on to Scribble Knots. Now, this is a great Nightwing design. Like, for what Scribble Knots is, like, again, they're like kind of piggybacking off of the rebirth design here with the knuckles and the blue shins, but they don't even do the like the bird symbol, but they keep the blue mask. But I think it works for the blue mask for Scribble Knots because they have like a limited art style, and I think this one works in that area. So I can't be mad at that one. I think it's a great design for what their limitations are. Now the next one, on the other hand, of course they got to give them a red design as well. If they just made this blue, it would have been right up there at the other one. But this one, of course, they made it red, so gotta put it in bad. Like, it's not good. Like, yeah, bottom of bad. Now on to our last Nightwing appearance. This is the Titan Show Nightwing, and I'm just gonna say this one. I appreciate what they did to finally put Nightwing, at least on the small screen in a blue suit. But it's just too armored. Like, it's too bulky. Like, how are you supposed to do like backflips, back handsprings, like flips off buildings in this thing? Like, you're just gonna get stuck and limited in your movement, and it just looks like a armored suit. Like, this is kind of like what Batman would wear in the movies and everything. But I think they need to focus on making Nightwing like a sleek suit so he's able to do all the acrobatic stuff. This one I think I gotta appreciate for what it is, but it's just a little over design. But I do like that they stuck with the blue. They could have gone red, but I'm happy they went with blue. So I'm gonna put this one in mid. I think this one, yeah, it's a mid. It's not, yeah. So gonna do final opinions here. Um, But yeah, I think this Rick Grayson outfit is the worst for sure. Dicky Boy, it's just embarrassing. I mean, these, like, it just hurts me to look at this. Super Saiyan Nightwing, yeah, no. And then this one, yeah, it's just embarrassing what, like, he doesn't even have the mullet to make him cool in this one. Talon, embarrassment. These are all just red Nightwing, which are all bad in my opinion. Like the chin strap, not cool. I mean, this hair is cooler than his, but he has the black suit. It's hard to say. I mean, they do a good representation from what I've seen with Nightwing in the movies, but it's just like like with his action scenes and everything. But the design is just bad. Um, what can I move around? I think the mech designs are bad. This one, I think this design is better than that. Um, I think the Ravager design. I don't know. I just don't like this hair piece for Nightwing. Like, I don't think that's what his hair like looks like ever. Any adaptations? Can you see one where he looks like that? Like, not me. This one is all right. These again are all just mid. Like, I'm sorry about Young Justice, but he's cool in the show. But this first design is just not good. Not it. This one I know might hurt a lot of people's like feelings on this, but again, it's like nostalgic, but there's nothing really going on. I do like his gliding in that show as well. These ones are just they're mid. They are what they are. This one is good for what they are. Yeah, Teen Titans Go, Nightwing, still like embarrassing in the show, but it's a good design for like the art style of the show. I think I'll put this one over here. These ones are good. Prefer them over Batman Beyond, Dick Grayson. I think this is a little bit cooler. I think, yeah, these work for me. These ones are good. This is a good design. Like, could be awesome, but I just hate that zipper, man. And the mask is different colored as well. It's a classic. I gotta appreciate them for bringing back the lining on the arms. This is pretty cool. Really like the hair here, and same here. Like, he's just a nice. He's just awesome in this show. But the design again is just the blue bird with the triangle on him. Really like the super wing design here. It's a great classic design for him. Red X, awesome. Did a good job. I think if they had to put blue other places, it was cool to put it instead of down the arms. It's cool that they put it in the where he like gets all of his gadgets from. Classic Lego. Yeah, and then again, gotta give the credit to Chuck Dixon. Yeah, Scott McDaniel. You just cooked with this, like hands down. Like that's the reason why it was the Nightwing suit for like 13 years until 2009 when he took over as Batman. I just love these panels where he's flipping, and I think it looks great. So that's like, yeah, the gist of my tier list. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm big into comics, like Star Wars, other media, like video games, like Mortal Kombat, like a lot of nerd stuff, I guess. So I'm gonna be trying to make more videos here, play Fortnite occasionally. But yeah, I appreciate everyone watching if they stayed through the end. And let me know what you guys think, what you disagree on, what your favorite opinion is, and if I got any names wrong or if I didn't give anyone credit for the artistry that they did. Let me know. I tried to be good about like the really great designs and who came up with them, making sure that they got their name out there. Let me know if there's anything I can improve on in the future. And I hope you enjoyed the video. But yeah, let me know your favorite design down in the comments. All right. Thank you. Hey everyone, so after making that initial recording for the tier list, I did decide that I wanted to move some things around upon further review. So I did want to go over that with you all here just quickly. And also wanted to mention that I did accidentally leave out a suit I thought needed mention, which was this Arkham City animated series Nightwing. So I did want to just talk about that one real quick before I get into the other changes I made. But this one basically, I think, is at the bottom of bad tier. It's almost in trash tier solely because the art style just doesn't work in the Arkham universe, in my opinion. They also got rid of his mullet. He just has short hair. They didn't add the hair in the back, which I thought was always odd, but probably because of gameplay limitations. But I was like fighting on whether I should put this in top of trash or in bad, but honestly, like looking at it, it's not as horrible as these other ones. So that's why I decided to just put it at the very bottom of bad. It's still a really bad suit, and I don't know why anyone would use this one. I just don't think the art style works for it. Going back to the rest of the tier list, I also wanted to point out that these are ordered. So right is the worst of the tier, and left is the best of each tier. So just getting straight into the costumes that I already had on the tier list. First, I did move this Talon design down from bad to trash because there's really nothing redeemable about this design. And I know it's supposed to be a Dick Grayson from Earth 3, but still, I don't really like any aspect of it. So that is why I moved it down to like the middle of trash, and I would be okay with never seeing this design again in my life. No opinion that might be controversial is that I did decide to move the Arkham Knight default Nightwing down from bad to trash. Because like I said earlier, the V on it, it just looks like it's placed over his shoulders and it's not really connected to that black undersuit, which bothers me how bulky it is. alongside it being just over designed in general, and looks like they just put blue randomly throughout it just because. And out of all the suits that have like cowls, this one is definitely the worst in my opinion, and I can't stand to look at that like mouth hole that he has, and the hair just really doesn't work. How he has like emo hair with that cowl, I just think it looks really bad. And I've heard that people think that this design is better than the Arkham City design, which is just so baffling to me because this is, like I told you earlier, like peak in my opinion. So this one just really awful, and I'm so glad I was able to use the Arkham City Nightwing design in Arkham Knight. And a reason that this new 52 inspired one is still in bad and the other one's in trash because this one actually looks like Nightwing to me. They get the black part right about the suit where it's like sleek, and the only problem is that it's red. Really, like the design for the chest area is good in my opinion. It's just that it's red is why it's in bad, but it definitely does better than this other Arkham Knight default design in my opinion. And another design I moved from bad to trash is this second design that they have in DC Universe Online for Nightwing, inspired by the Rebirth design. And literally, the only thing I can say that's good about this design is that the accent color is blue. But even saying that, the blue mask like doesn't work for this character model, in my opinion. And just looking at it, it's like super boring and bland, and there's nothing dynamic about this suit. And every time I look at it, I'm just disgusted, honestly. So that's why I put it in trash. It's garbage. Going up to the bad tier, I actually did decide that this first Batman Unlimited Nightwing design is better than the second one, mainly because of the hair, but also the red stripes on his arms are a little bit more unique. And I think it just has more character to this design. So that's mainly why I put it above this other one. Again, I did move this Scribble Knots Nightwing design up a little bit in the bad tier because it's doing everything right on paper. The only problem is that it's red, but I do appreciate them having the color go down, like the arms. Obviously, like taking that good inspiration, but again, it's still red, so it's down here in bad. Going forward, I did also decide to move this Dan Mora Batman Immortal Nightwing design below these other two because out of like all three of these, they look kind of like mech inspired, tech looking suits, but I think these two encapsulate Nightwing, like the character, better than this one. Like I cannot tell you that this is Nightwing if I look at it, but I can see Nightwing in these ones, so that's why I did that. I also moved this red design up above these suits over here because I really like the design aspect to this suit. The only problem is that it's red again. If this was blue, it would be in probably the great tier because the design is just that good. I also want to talk about the new 52 design. It was made by Eddie Burrows. I don't think I shouted them out in the video initially, so I did want to mention that. And lastly, in the bad tier, I did want to go over this Injustice comic book Nightwing design. This one, could possibly be in mid or good based on the design alone, but the portrayal of Dick Grayson in this comic book, I think, is what kills it because I remember in the Injustice video game, like when you learned that Damian Wayne killed Dick Grayson, I was like expecting some big battle or something epic to go down to where he killed Dick Grayson, but it was literally just him throwing a stick at Dick Grayson's head and he fell back onto a rock and broke his neck. Just super anticlimactic for like one of the greatest characters in fiction, in my opinion. So for that portrayal, that's why I'm putting it in bad. And also did want to address that this comic book Injustice Nightwing and animated movie Injustice Nightwing, they both like went out like punks, right? But this comic book one, I think the design is just a little bit more boring, and I don't like that hair to where like it gets negatively affected by that portrayal of him. Where this one I think is a great representation for like an Injustice style Nightwing, and you got to think about like all the other suits in that Injustice world, where I don't think it gets like tainted by that portrayal where he gets taken out that way. I can kind of look past it with that one. Going up, I did decide to move a few suits down from the good tier to mid. Those being the Grayson Lego suit, this Earth 2 Batman Dick Grayson design, and this Batman Beyond Dick Grayson. So with the Lego, I think compared to the other one, I just looked at it more and decided that it doesn't have as much blue in it, and it's just pretty basic looking. And I don't know why you would choose this Lego figure to use as a person with a gun when you could use a whole bunch of different outfits. And honestly, just looking at it more, it's just a very basic, boring design. So that's why I put it in mid. It's not bad or anything, but it's just boring. I did decide that this Lego Nightwing is better than these other ones because I think this design is good in general. It takes like the New 52 design, obviously, but it just makes the symbol blue. The only thing that's wrong about it is that hairpiece, and I think if it took inspiration from like this Talon style hair or the Dark Legion style hair, it would have been in the good or great tier. One costume I did move down from good to mid was this Earth 2 Dick Grayson Batman design. Mainly because the more I look at it, the more I realize how like jumbled and messy it is. Again, it's not bad per se, but I think they just have yellow and black placed like randomly throughout it. Another thing that I do like about it though is that it has like a collar and the cowl has like a lip, goes down to the lip area, which I think is pretty unique and interesting for this design. It's just the more I look at it, the more like I realize how like busy it is, and it's not bad, but it's not good anymore in my opinion. And another suit that I put down from good to mid is this Batman Beyond Future Dick Grayson. Now, I like this design for what it is. It's just, there's nothing really special about it. He's literally just wearing like a black suit, and he has the gray on the side of his hair and the eye patch. So that's literally the only thing that it has going for is that he has like an eye patch. But other than that, I can't really say this is like a good suit for him. It's just, mid. Like, there's nothing like special about it. That's why I put it in mid. Going up to good, I actually did move one suit from the mid to the good, which was this Nightwing that is Deadman in the comics. Because the more I look at it, I'm like, well, if you're going to combine the two characters together and make a merge, this is what a Nightwing like Deadman would look like. So I can't give it too much like flack for that, and I think they did a good job like representing both characters like merged together. So this is, I think, good now. And another thing, again, my tier list is based that I prefer blue Nightwing. So this is the best red Nightwing, and that's why I have it in good. Even though I don't prefer him to be red, this is definitely the best red Nightwing design we have ever gotten. So that's why I put this one up here. And if these two New 52 designs for Nightwing were blue instead of red, they would definitely be higher up in the tier list. This Eddie Burroughs one would be in the great tier, probably, and this Brett Booth one, I imagine it could be in the top 5 just on the design alone. I think it's really awesome. The only problem I have with it is that it's red, so I can't really put it any higher than good. But that is why that one's down there. Also, did want to address that these two like classic Nightwing designs from the animated shows obviously take inspiration from this awesome design where I put these ones in just good. But I think this one is just a product of its time where it's just so iconic. It was the first Nightwing suit, and these ones are just piggybacking off of it. But I just like how it's illustrated more than these ones, and somehow these don't work as well when they're translated to television, in my opinion. But I would really enjoy to see like what a modern artist would do with the classic George Perez design. So I think that'd be interesting if it came back. Going forward, I decided that this Young Justice Season 4 Nightwing design is better than the Travis Moore Revival Nightwing, mainly because like the mask is black where this one's blue, and the blue on the shoulders goes down his arms while this one just stays on the shoulders. So I think those aspects alongside like the black and gray undertones of the like Young Justice Nightwing suits I really enjoy. So I think this one goes up to the top of good. Moving on to the great tier, I decided that this Scribblenauts, like for what it is, it's better than this animated Injustice universe or movie design. And you got to think about like these are all based in their own art style, so I am still comparing them and grading them on that. But I think this is like possibly one of the best you could do for like a Scribblenauts Nightwing portrayal. So I think they did a good job there, and just like it a little bit more. Now going on in the great tier, I did decide that this 2009 Batman, Dick Grayson Batman design is better than the Apocalypse War one, partially because every time I look at the Apocalypse War one, I just see that like line throughout the middle of the suit, and that bothers me. But also, I just have like a bias in regards to this story arc where Dick Grayson is the Batman for Damian Wayne's Robin, and I just really like that dynamic that they have together. And I wish that could have gone on for longer in the comics before they rebooted, but it is what it is, and I'm excited and happy that we got this suit for the time that we did. And I also wanted to shout out that this was made by Frank Quietly and Philip Tan, who initially designed this suit. And if you're gonna do like a black and gray Batman suit, this is like a pretty good interpretation, I think. Yeah, so I think this one's just a little bit better. Now at the top of gray, I did decide that this Dark Legion Nightwing suit is better than the Teen Titans one, mainly because I think it represents what I want to see in a Nightwing design a little bit more than the Teen Titans one. The only issues I really have with it are the belt and the bird, but other than that, like I really like the hair and the black mask on him, and this is like really great, like almost awesome. But I'm really satisfied with this design, and the Teen Titans one is cool because of the hair and everything, but not like what I want most Nightwing designs to look like. Going on to the awesome tier, I decided that this first DC Universe Online Nightwing design is better than this Red X, and that basically like puts the top 10 suits being Nightwing suits or Nightwing adjacent suits. And I know this one has the bird on it, but if you're gonna do the bird, this is like one of the best ones to do it, where it incorporates the lines on the arms down to the fingertips. It also has like the black mask, which is cool, and the hair. But also the bird design, I think, is one of the better ones where it's pretty like thick looking, and I prefer that over like a skinnier bird or more of like a smaller bird that's like on the chest area, such as the Rebirth design. I think this one's like a really bad version of the bird because it's so like skinny, and that's like one of the main issues I have with that one as well. So I think they do a good job with this one, and yeah, I appreciate this design, and it's a shame that they went from peak to trash garbage, but it is what it is. Now moving on to the final change, I put Dexter Soy and Dan Waters Nightwing in the fourth spot, fourth best Nightwing suit of all time, because it incorporates like the new elements that have been in like the recent like modern designs, but tweaks them to make it like one of the best suits. Like I do enjoy the blue on the bottom of the shoes and the blue on the palms. I think that works like in the modern time. And I do really enjoy like the hair length and the black mask that he has going for this suit. The only issue with it is that it has the bird on the top of the V there, but I think it just barely beats out this original black suit with the blue accents, mainly because of the ponytail. I think is a little bit too ridiculous, and I can deal with this little bird head more than the ponytail, so that's why I put it at the fourth spot. And I still do really enjoy this Night Fight Dick Grayson Batman design, and I hope to see it again sometime. And one thing I did want to clarify also about this Scott McDaniel Chuck Dixon design is that I prefer like the hair length to be like where it's at in like the first issue when it gets the ponytail cut off, because throughout this whole like comic run until like 2009, like he gets shorter hair and then longer hair sometimes, but like this medium length is my favorite of those. But yeah, this is my definitive Nightwing slash Dick Grayson costume tier list. Again, like this best of all time, my favorite design ever, and I wish every design would look like this. and these ones are all awesome. Like I'd be happy to see any of one of these designs for Nightwing. These ones same, like I'm excited for these designs as well. Like they do a great job. These ones no are good but have room for improvement in my opinion. These are, you know, I would want definitely better than these ones. Like I'm not super excited about these, and these ones are all bad. Don't want to see them again, and these are just embarrassing. Never ever want to see these ones again. But let me know, like rate my tier list down below in the comments, or tell me what you disagree with or agree with. And again, let me know what your favorite Nightwing slash Dick Grayson costume is down below, or what your favorite Nightwing adaptation is that we've seen him portrayed in, and what your favorite like comic book run is if you've read them. Obviously, mine is the Chuck Dixon one, and a little bit past him until he leaves Bloodhaven. I think that was like peak Nightwing storytelling. But yeah, I tried to gather every single Nightwing and Dick Grayson costume I could. Again, there are no Robin suits on this tier list, but if I missed something, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try to respond to it with my own opinion on it and where I'd put it in the tier list. But I might have missed like some multiverse versions of Nightwing or whatever. But I'm super excited to do more of these types of videos because I'm excited to do like a Red Hood costume tier list because I have a lot of strong opinions on him and what looks best, and some of his suits are really bad in my opinion. So I want to go over that with you guys. But if you stayed through this really long video, I am very grateful for that. And I hope everyone has a great rest of their day and take care of yourselves. All right.